Dorji Damdul. We are meeting for a teaching for the first time after the Corona break. In fact, after almost 2.5 years.
Yes.
So, indeed, I think it's a very auspicious occasion that the first teaching is being given by Geshe today. So, for a brief introduction of Geshe, though he doesn't need one, I think most of you are familiar with his activities and his statements. But nevertheless, I think very briefly, I will introduce Geshe. Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul is currently the director of Tibet House, New Delhi, the cultural center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He also gives regular lectures and leads philosophy classes at Tibet House and several universities and institutes all over the world. He travels widely within India and abroad to teach Buddhist philosophy, psychology, logic, and practice. Geshe has also worked on several books such as Ethics for the New Millennium Part 2, Art of Happiness, and co-authored with Professor Paul on the book titled Emotional Awareness. Geshe has written a number of important papers for national and international conferences on the theme of the paradox of the brain and the mind, an ultimate reality according to Mahayana. Currently, he's working on 2 books titled Journey into the Paradox of Brain and Mind and What Constitutes the Ultimate Reality, the Effects of Understanding the Ultimate Reality. Today, Geshe is going to give a talk on death awareness and how it can help us secure a good future rebirth. I think it's a very timely topic, Geshe. The corona crisis during the last 2 years made all of us have a close encounter with death and the dying process. We all lost someone very dear to us. Very often, even otherwise, I always felt that death is the most important question of our time, as it is a taboo and we confine it to the embarrassment of private greed. Social inequities have increased as the cost of dying rises, and issues of death are taken increasingly to the cause. We witness cosmetic death on television 100 times a day, and it becomes enticing and entertaining. Yet, reality of a definite death and its indefinite time must be hidden from our immediate environment, as it sounds distasteful and fearful. However, Dr. Kubler-Ross, Dr. Raymond Parry, and Dr. Ernest Becker have contributed immensely to the field of thanatology, or the study of death and dying. Modern thanatologists have given us evidence to support the theory that awareness of death and impermanence helps us to live a healthy, balanced, and a harmonious life. Today, Geshe is going to enlighten us on the Buddhist perspective related to the evolutionary process of death and dying. Thank you very much, Geshe, for accepting our invitations.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Renuji. Okay, those in the back, can you hear me? Sanjay ji, can you hear me? Okay. Thank you. In fact, Tushita Centre is the one which...
Is Geshe audible?
Okay. Okay, so basically, 真的 Aruna ji di ku jang sha. Aruna ji. Okay.
But why can't we have the mic?
Okay. Okay. So for all of us to be seeing each other again, I can see most of the faces as familiar. And it has been more than 2 years that we're all confined to our own places. And I've been meeting some of you once in a while, independently, not in group. So it's, in a way, it's good to see all of us together in one place. And some of the Tibetan friends, they're wondering if we can have class in person in Tibet House. And I was a little cautious. And so when Tushita Centre requested me to do that, I said, okay. So Tushita is more audacious. And yes, in a way, it's auspicious. And it also is, to see that is such the respite, such we feel little good to be like helping each other, giving hands to each other when we are together. So because we are going through all difficult times, as Professor Inouye rightly indicated, that all these last 2.5 years, we lost so many friends and so many near and dear ones. Very sad, though, extremely sad. And today the topic is very important. And whether we like it or not, we have to acknowledge one reality, that one day, if I not to make the prophecy, but as a very general general fact, is that after 150 years from now, in the future, we can't expect even a single person out of 7 billion human beings to be alive then. That's for sure. So where is the next journey? This question. So with this, just for information, that how to channelize our mind, how to channelize the mind, particularly at the time of dying, that to make sure that we are in a safe place, we are in a wholesome rebirth, wholesome connection. So this is the question. And of course, there are many questions. So because we touched this topic, what underlies this topic? One of the major questions is, in the first place, how do we discern that there's a rebirth? How do we know that? This is a very serious question. And of course, given that there are so many layers to be unfolded, and what you're doing is the last stage where people are happy to know that, or people are happy to acknowledge or to be aware that yes, there is the phenomenon known as rebirth. And then if there is this rebirth, then how to manage it? How to make sure that this is wholesome rebirth for us the next time? This question. So with this question, in fact, towards the end, I'll be happy to entertain questions. For the opening of this talk, I'd like to just share with you a small anecdote. When I was in Israel, there is a couple, a wife who is already a Buddhist, meaning that who became Buddhist, and her husband a physicist. And the wife I don't know to what extent, what made her believe in Buddhism, rebirth, all these things. But she is very seriously with Buddhism, and in fact, a part of a program, the Dharma Friends of Israel, and one of the core members of this. And her husband, being a physicist, she was so keen that her husband joins her as Buddhist. And the husband, of course, being a physicist, how can you possibly very easily convince the person to follow a particular religion? And the two of them, what kind of conversations two of them were having, I didn't know. And then this lady was so keen that I stay with them for like 2-3 days. And so the first year failed meaning that the main host, they organized my stay there in his place. And the second year almost failed somehow, just I think 1 day, they were able to set me up there in her place. And the moment I reached there, she organized some tea with my friends, herself, her husband. And then she was dragging me into the topic of rebirth. And I was already very tired, moving from this place, that place. And then I told her that, okay, this topic, I should have full of energy. I don't have the energy now. And then the dinner on the dinner table. Again, she was bringing the topic. And I said, no, I don't have energy. Then she was very dark because she had only one day. And then next day finished. I will be gone. Then she said that he's the one who doesn't believe in rebirth, pointing to her husband. Then her husband was gazing at me like this on the table, like me. And then I was gazing him like this. And I did not have any excuse to say that I'm tired. Then, okay, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm sharing this anecdote to make you feel how important this topic is, the rebirth concept. And then what happened was that so I had to say something. Then I knew the agenda behind her insisting me to be with her in that the lab for 2 years. Then I told him that, number one, you are a physicist. You have an exceptionally brilliant mind. And this brilliant mind, if you use it just to fill your stomach, this is just waste. To fill a stomach to lead an ordinary life, it does not require such a brilliant mind. This brilliant mind must be used for something which ordinary people cannot do. What is that? To explore topics which ordinary people cannot touch, whether or not there's a rebirth. This is a very important topic, and this is only the brilliant people can explore logically. And if you don't do that, this is a great loss on your part. You miss greatly. And then I said that, but there's so many things, so many, the very subtle phenomena to explore. And why rebirth? Yes, it is like a small child who does not see tomorrow, who does not see what after 5 years, what after 20 years. The child cannot see that. So the child will tell mom, I'll not go to school. I like to play. I want to stay at home. And if the mother says, yes, you can play, then after 10 years, the child will complain to the mother, fight with the mother, saying that you are the one who did not take me to school. You are the one who spoiled me. You are the one who deprived me of the education. Because then the child could see the future. And it was too late. So likewise, say the elders, the parents, because that they could see what is beyond after 5 years, after 10 years, 20 years. So that somehow the parents will insist that the child goes to school. And the child, given that the child doesn't see what is tomorrow, the child simply wants to
switch the sound so that we can switch to the microphone.
Ready, sit. Okay. Should I repeat everything or just from where I left?
From where you left. We could hear.
Thank you. Okay, so basically, then the point is that the rebirth, that given that the child doesn't see tomorrow, and the elders they see tomorrow. So the approach to what the child should be doing at this particular moment could deviate between the two. The child says, no, I want to play, I don't want to go to school. And the parent says, so, no, you have to go to school. So likewise, the physicists being more intelligent, they should be like the parents, they should not become like a small child. Only think about this life, then you become like a small child. In case if there's rebirth, then you're in problem because you're not prepared. So therefore, rebirth concept plays a very important role. And I would say that this is a topic which is good to explored by the intelligent people, the physicists. So this is how we began our talk. Okay. So now the point is that the one very serious the point of discussion, extremely important point of discussion is whether or not there is a mind which is different from the brain. This is the very serious question pertaining to rebirth, pertaining to next life, pertaining to preparing for a wholesome rebirth, and so forth. In all these cases, to establish or to be convinced that there is a mind which is different from the brain. This is so important, and that I would say that some of the people, in a way, they get it in ways that they have, intuitive belief that there's rebirth. And if there's no rebirth, then things don't really make sense. One. And some people, they want logical reasons to understand how this should work. So these are the two things, the 200 people. So there, that's what the neuroscience has to say today, is that the 2008, when I was in America with Professor Pollickman, a world-renowned psychologist, and who was then writing co-authoring a book with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, a book entitled Emotional Awareness. And the Office of His Holiness asked me to go there to work with him to see the voice of His Holiness in the book, to make sure that His Holiness says the voice is being well reflected in the book. And I was there for about 5 days. And on the last day, spending 5 days together with him, he sensed that I'm interested in neuroscience and the mind, the brain and the mind. And then I also asked him what book should I read on neuroscience with brain, no neuroscience with the mind. And then on his table, there's one book, In Search of Memory by Professor Eric Handel. He said that this is a very good book, you must read it, and I'd like to give my copy to you. So he gave it to me, and I read it, and I really, really, really appreciate this book. So good. It was by Professor Eric Handel, who is a Nobel laureate in physiology. In other words, Nobel laureate in neuroscience, physiology, or medicine. And he was Nobel laureate 2004. And I saw the book in 2008. Okay, so there in this book, what he said was that today, the hypothesis followed by the neuroscientists, two common hypotheses. The first one is that there's no mind, there's only the brain. Second hypothesis, that there's a mind, is a derivative of the brain. When the brain dies, the mind disappears. Okay, these are two hypotheses he stated in this book. And overall speaking, I really, really love the book. It's so well written. And of course, a Nobel laureate in science. Presentations, they're so objective in approach. And his is not purely correlating the memory, the functional memory of the mental function of the memory with the neural correlates. So this is what he was doing was just amazing. I really appreciate it. And I would suggest you read that as well. Read that. That would be very helpful if you're interested to know about the correlation with brain and mind. This is one part. And interestingly, that our mind, what I would say is that from all these many years of my exposure to Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist psychology, and particularly one part which I'm sure you will like about was when I was just aged like him. I was just age 19 or 20. I was supposed to be joining physics in college. And instead of that, somehow, for some reasons, my mind switched to join a monastery to study philosophy and psychology. And in public addresses to the Tibetans, when I say this, that in my late teens and the early 20s, I was going to become a physicist. And some of my friends, they would say that they're so glad that you're a physicist. It is because that I'm not a physicist that I become connected with so many other people, not only with the physicists. So he's saying that we're so glad that you did not become a physicist. Okay. So what I'm saying is that that time, whole belief in me was that I was born in a Buddhist family, brought up in a Buddhist community, where everybody takes for granted that rebirth is there. And I was brought up in such an environment. And then from one environment, after completing the CBSE class 12, then moved to the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. Again, they believed that this institute was there to solidify, to cement my belief that there's rebirth. And suddenly, my teacher, the most venerable Geshe, he invited one lady American doctor to give a lecture on neuroscience to his students, about 100 monks, young monks. And I just joined the monastery from my school. And my teacher, he said that, Dorji, you should be the translator, because the most monks, they didn't speak English. And I worked so hard to pay attention to the lecture given by this lady doctor, and because the people, the audience, how much they receive depends on me. Although the lecture is so fabulous, but if I could not convey it in a complete form, then there's no benefit, because finally people should be benefited, and nobody, if they don't understand what is being conveyed. So I try my best to be very attentive and share with the audience, the monks. And that night, I did not have sleep, because if the mind is how she explained, this part of the brain, amygdala, this is for the emotions, and this part of the brain, the cortex, this is all for the visual, the senses, and language, touch, color, the cognitive, the activities of the mind, emotional activities of the mind.
Where's the mind? If everything is reducible to the brain, where's the mind? This is a question. And this poor young boy, when I was in school, as I said earlier, past 9, 10, 11, 12, for 4 years, I was so unloved physics and mathematics. And I simply wanted to become a physicist eventually. And this boy, he was just lost in confusion. Where's the mind if there's no brain? And I joined the monastery believing that there's a rebirth. So I should do the philosophy. I should practice the Dharma and then prepare for my next life. Where's the next life? If this is what the mind is, it's just reducible to the brain. Then I started my journey. So I did not tell anybody, simply they told myself that today, don't think that will do this. Start from a clean slate. This is what I told myself. And that started my journey. And luckily, I was in a monastery where the academic pursuit is the priority. So all these pujas, rituals, that all same. That was one of the high points of my being in that monastery. And then I started the journey. And it was in 1988. Most likely many of you are not born then. It was 1988. Yeah. Then then 88, and then the journey started at one point. I think in America, not from Japan, with His Holiness. His Holiness was giving the public address, and I was translating for His Holiness. His Holiness is Dalai Lama. While doing that, so two things happening in my mind. One, making notes of what His Holiness was saying for me to translate to the public. On the other hand, collecting the materials for my own brain neural, the brain and mind correlation book in the future. And then His Holiness noticed something weird happening there with the translator. So after teaching, he said, "Damdul, what are you doing?" And I mentioned that this is another point that I'm gathering for my future plan about the relationship with brain and the mind. Okay, this is a very important point. So with this, the point is that what is mind? If you take this a very serious point, first of all, let me for you, because this is not going to be the main topic. Yet, unless until you unfold this part, then the remaining part will become either you believe you have a very strong belief, not necessarily through logic or through reasoning, or say through a powerful reasoning experience, you have conviction that yes, there is a mind which is different from the brain, and then when somebody dies, the mind, that person continues, the mind continues to take rebirth, and that rebirth is determined by the various factors. So, provided you belong to these two categories, you're lucky. Otherwise, all your journey exploration will belong to, say, in a limbo, and that you're always in some form of confusion. Okay, so with this, what is brain? What is mind? This is the one thing that I would like to share with you very quickly now, and then I'll take the main topic. That what is mind? What is brain? So basically, we know that the mind. This is something very strange phenomenon. When you're not really aware of it, this mind becomes extremely vivid and can be very strongly visible to you. You want to see it, it feels away. This is what the mind is. So it requires a tremendous exercise. It requires a tremendous meditation to observe what the mind is. You must gain some kind of command over this, the command over observing your mind. So, for example, one thing which I have been recently talking about is about the practice. People talk about the practice of mindfulness, mindfulness. So people say, okay, you have to, the practice of mindfulness. In fact, during the talk, which they requested, one small group requested to speak on the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh's the achievements, and they asked me to talk. A question asked about Professor Thich Nhat Hanh's, the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh's mindfulness meditation and so forth. So I made it very clear that the mindfulness and the, say for example, say some of you must be already aware of the mindfulness practice. Say like, okay, now I'm lifting my left hand, right hand. Okay, now I'm moving down. Now I'm lifting my, the left foot up. There's mindfulness. Okay, now I am removing the lid. Now I'm picking up the mud. So this is, yes, this is the practice of mindfulness. This practice of mindfulness is just the mindfulness per se. And the purpose for the practice of mindfulness is that your mind should become transformed from an unhappy person to a happier person. If that is not happening, then the purpose is defeated. So what is the real practice of mindfulness? The Buddha taught the four mindfulnesses. Mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the mind, mindfulness of the feeling, mindfulness of the phenomena. And all these things, not only mindfulness per se, there is very profound subject matter. In other words, like the container and the contents. So mindfulness per se is like the container. And what should you be mindful of? So that is ordinary candies or the chocolates or, say the extremely healthy medicines. So what is that? The contents. So the mindfulness, and particularly with your own mind, mindfulness of your own mind, what your mind is doing. So there, until you are trained so well, to be mindful of your own mind, to mindfulness of your own mind, what your mind looks like. That is very difficult. And once you get it, it's extremely exciting journey to life. You see that your life is full of meaning the moment you discover what your mind is like, the moment you see what your mind is like. And then some people, when they retired, and then they don't know how to spend their time. They feel so bored, so they just look for ways to kill their time. But if you're aware of your mind, observing this mind, if you're aware of this mind, if you see your mind, then you don't have time to lose. 24 hours is too less for you. And then they say the people come, you must be feeling bored, you have no work. No, please don't disturb me. Whereas some people, they come to me, oh, Vishila, now it's COVID, you're always in home, you must be feeling bored. I came here to, my wife sent me here to just keep people to come to some company. No, I don't need a company. I just want things too. It's just wasting my time. Maybe it's wasting my time. If you came here, not for a purpose for a purpose for yourself, then don't come. Yeah, I would tell my friends like this. Literally, they think that, oh, you have so much time now you don't travel, you don't eat, nobody comes to you in person. So my wife sent me, Vishal must be feeling bored, tell him sometimes watch movies. Okay, so what I'm saying is that if you once you know how to observe your mind, once you see what your mind is like, then the 24 hours is too less for you. It's so beautiful. When it's so drained, you can observe your mind. What's the mind like when it's physically drained? When it's so drained, no energy. When you fall asleep, just observe your mind, what the mind is like when I fall asleep. When your mind is so crazy, haywire, this thoughts just rambling here and there. So what is much why? It's so beautiful. So every moment is meditation for you. Okay, so this is something we can do. So what is that mind? In a nutshell, in short, it is that, okay, by the way, one time I also asked one of my teachers, who was like lifelong retreatant, solitary retreatant. I asked him, I was just age 22 one day. Then the sun, I said, this is like mine. Until I was trying to look for mine, I couldn't find it. And he said that, Dorji, don't you see a mirror-like a phenomenon within you, mirror-like, where any reflection can be formed. Any reflection can be formed, and very clear mirror-like. Certainly, no, I couldn't say anything mirror. Okay, so for him, it's very easy because he had been using this meditation for the last like 20, 30 years. For him, it was very easy. Okay, so this was my journey. What is that mind like? For us, for easy purpose, for the purpose of making it easy for you, is that, say, when I think of, say, you can say, recall some events of the past. You can ruminate, you can reminiscence, you can reminisce the past events. Okay, just think of something. Think of something of the past memories, one very beautiful moment or very sad moment, whatever. Just think of that, very quickly think of that, a past memory. Okay, now I ask you not to disclose what you thought about. They say the memory that came to you and the manifesting of which makes you feel nostalgic, or makes you feel so happy, or makes you feel sad. Okay, it's a very vibrant memory. And imagine that I asked you not to disclose this to the neuroscientists. I hand over you to the neuroscientists for him or her to see your brain. Then he or she puts you in the brain scan, fMRI scan, and then they can see your brain waves. They can see where the neurons are being fired, the synaptic connection. They can see all these things. If I ask him, what is this girl thinking of? What is this boy thinking of? He or she would have no clue. And some of you might have read some material saying that now the neuroscience, they can see what you're thinking. So there's a whole phenomena which is a clear proof that they cannot see anything what you're thinking. So that's what is known as creating dictionary of what your mind is thinking. Creating dictionary. Why? They don't know what you are thinking. So they look for the brain movements, brain firings, and transfer the neurotransmitters from one place to the other, like be electrical, chemical. So on that basis, what thoughts are going in your mind? They're trying to say, number one, they map, then number two, they try to create a dictionary. Say, okay, this movement, this firing of the neuron correlates to this, a cognitive thought process, emotional thought process. So they say you're showing movies, very scary movies in this fMRI scan, and then you keep watching it, and then there's so much fear arising. What kind of brain is it? What is happening to your brain? The brain is activated when he's in fear. So this is for fear, this is for sadness, this is for happiness. Now they create the dictionary. So this is great indication that neuroscientists cannot see what's going in your mind. Because of this, they have to run the dictionary through initially created by, I'll say, interrogating the person. And so with this, the point is that the neuroscientists, they cannot see what you're thinking. And you don't see, forget about seeing the brain correlates. You're not even seeing your own brain. You cannot see anything brain weight. You don't see that. So what the mental activity that you are aware of, which the neuroscientists cannot see, that is your mind. Which the neuroscientists can see so clearly, which you cannot see, that is your brain. This is how to make this distinction. And then on that number B, if you're able to see this, the nature of this mind, which you are aware of, which neuroscientists cannot see, if you're able to see this yourself through practice, then you see that these two are very different classes of phenomena, the brain and the mind. And this mind, if you can tackle it nicely, you will see everything is beautiful. So this mug, if the lid is removed, it's beautiful. If it is just half closed, it's beautiful. Full closed, everything is beautiful. Whereas if you don't know how to tackle the mind well, everything is wrong. Something is wrong with you. If you come very nicely dressed, there's a problem. Why are you so formal? If you come very shabbily dressed, there's a problem. Why are you not respecting other people? Right? And if you come without any food, there's a problem. Right? Should I feed you? If you come having eaten food, you're so selfish, you do not think of me. Right? Because how are you? Are you my doctor? If you don't ask how are you, you have you don't have even courtesy to ask me about my well-being. Everything is wrong if you don't know how to handle the mind. And this mind is so beautiful. And if you can train it, if you can train this mind, then you can train it to such extent that every moment is beautiful. Then you can see that everyone has the seed of perfection. Everyone has the seed of perfection. Only thing is that you need to help them. You need to help them to awaken this seed. Okay, so with this, the point is that with the COVID, we lost so many dear ones. And the first news that I heard was the loss of my Parsi friend. Somehow we were so well connected. The first time I was in Mumbai, I think 2018. We were meeting for the first time. He was already in his 60, he must be 65 then. And somehow, just meeting him, there was such a glow on his face, and so much joy. And then the next year, he joined the retreat, the Buddhist retreat in Pune, and there was such a joy there, so beautiful. And then the next year, for a small program, he came all the way from Mumbai again to Pune. Sorry, Richa knows her. Richa knows him. Yeah, Richa's mom. Yeah, know him. Very, very kind person. Extremely kind person. And then it was, I think, not the Delta version, the first version. Initially, the first, the virus outbreak, I heard that he was in the hospital. It was COVID. And then after a few days, plasma transfusion was happening. And it was a trial. Even the doctors they did not have a clear clue about this plasma transfusion, but it helps. Then after that was news that he was now and then extremely sad, very heartbreaking. So it happened to so many people. Okay, with this, the point is that yes, it happens to some.
I think now maybe we should remember Jimmy Naresh Mathurji. He was once upon a time
Yes.
director of the show.
Yes, exactly. And then in the second wave, Delta wave, then we lost Naresh Mathurji. Very, very sad, extremely heartbreaking for all of us. Yeah. And so with this in mind, what I'm saying is that okay, now, so we are all, if we think carefully, let us not be scared to think of what the Buddha taught as all composite things impermanent. Which is, I opened this class by saying that there's going to be a day when not even a single person today will be that. That's for sure. So what's the preparation? This question. What's the preparation? Should we just stay gloomy, or we can prepare something? So what I'm saying is, if you know the preparation well, if you know what your mind is, and how the mind can behave, extremely nice way or in extremely nasty way, so how the mind can behave under what situation? If you know all these things, then you can maneuver your mind so well that, say, moving from one life to the next life, this is like, this is like for an individual, say, from one place, from a school, boarding school, now going to home to meet your parents. For a young child, this is the most beautiful moment, happiest moment. After school, then going on winter holiday to meet with the parents. That is the most beautiful moment for a child. So that becomes like this for us if we are prepared. If you're prepared, you know how to channelize your mind, that it can go in the proper direction as you intend. If this is what can happen, then that doesn't mean anything. That is just like disappearing from one place and moving to another place. Say for example, I'm sure most of you, say, just raise your hands, those who qualified this, that when you were age 5, 6, 7, 8, you're in school, and you are so much looking forward to go back home. If you are in boarding school, the winter holiday, looking forward to meet your parents. Can you raise hands? Okay, most of us, including myself. But what I'm saying is that if this is how we can channelize our mind properly, then that is like leaving the school and going to your parents' home. It's a very beautiful phenomenon. Now, how to channelize the mind? This question. Okay, so for this, our mind that we are talking about. Finally, we keep in mind that we have the body with mind. Yes. I've said, for example, if you're a very calm person, there's a sudden earthquake here, and some people they freak, and some people they are still calm, very calm, right? How come that you're so calm? Because yesterday I was very calm. How you freak? Because this is my nature from yesterday. So why you have this nature to freak yesterday? Because of 2 days ago, 3 days ago, last year, 2 years ago, when I was a child. So you go back in time. So likewise, the point is that if we learn how to channelize the mind, this tendency of your mind is what you're going to carry to the next moment. And so this is how you are fully controlled, your mind fully controlled, and this is how your mind travels. Likewise, how come that you have the male body today? Because yes, I had a male body. How come that you have a female body today? Because of last year's. So this is how, again, go back. Again, we see that we have the body, we have the mind. And the mind, body also from the past, mind also from the past, and body you can track back to your parents. And the mind, you cannot track back to your parents. Mozart, I don't think that Mozart's parents, they are Mozarts. Mozart's parents, they did not have any close to music. And then Mozart, and if you go back 0.3 million years ago, I don't think there was any Mozart before that. 0.3 million years ago, there was the first Homo sapien. The first Homo sapien was alive. Forget about music. They even don't know how to speak. They only have the dumb language. That's it. They don't have language. And then if you go back further, 4 billion years ago, when the first unicellular organism appeared, no Mozart. Go back further, it was just like the cloud of dust in the last 15 billion years. It was like this. So we see that where does Mozart, where did it come from? So it's to do with the mind. It has nothing to do with the body. So this mind came from somewhere else. It was the earlier. And where is that earlier? So that is known as the Mozart's form of mind. So but this is what I'm saying is that no doubt when we leave this world, his body will not go to the next world. This body will may become a soil, nutrition for the plants, apples. And somebody else is going to eat this apples. And your body will become the body of somebody else. No doubt. The mind that travels. So this is what we need to channelize it. So how to channelize it? So first, we have to keep in mind that this mind, whether you're happy, whether you're not happy, whether you're Einstein, whether you are, say, the Mozart, or whether you are Michelangelo, or whether you are like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or whether you are like Mahatma Gandhi, Jesus Christ is all determined by your mind. If your mind is very courageous and loving, you are Jesus Christ. If your mind is very courageous for the nation, you are Mahatma Gandhi. It's all about your mind. Body doesn't have anything to do with this. Of course, your body should be healthy to demonstrate this mind, the full power. And if you become so loving, the mere sight of you makes people to run to tears. You are His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And if your mind is such that although you have a very, say, small body, and yet you can take care of everybody on the street, small children, homeless children, you belong to Teresa. It's about your mind. Your mind is science. This is an empirical reality. So with this, that how to make this mind like, oh, okay, I see His Holiness the Dalai Lama is my role model. I see Mahatma Gandhi is my role model. Or I see other answer as my role model for some young boys. Young boys maybe like Messi is my role model. Even Messi, you may think that he is the skill, physical skill. No. The physical skill is a skill of his. If there's a damage to the brain, he will lose his physical skill. Even the physical skill is the demonstration of the fine mental skills. So these mental skills is related to the brain. So that's how these two are connected. And then it's translated in the form of the physical, and even the chefs. With the chefs, how they make very amazing, wonderful food. Again, it's about the skills, oriented to the mind. So how to channelize this mind? And believe it or not, whether you're Buddhist or not Buddhist, Hindus, Muslims, Jains, Sikhs, Jews, Christians, non-believers, or you're male or female or transgender, it doesn't matter. Everybody, as long as you have the mind, this mind there's a goal inside. It's not about whether which religion you belong to, what kind of ethnicity that you belong to. No. As long as you have mind, you have to see the perfection there. So the perfection. You have to see the perfection to become an Albert Einstein in terms of physics, or Mozart in terms of music, or Mahatma Gandhi as a political leader, and so forth. You have this potential. Now, the point is that this mind travels from one life to the next, to the next, to the next. So, we can't say this body, sometimes they'll say, okay, Kishila, you need to eat this food, you need to do exercise, this exercise, that exercise. And so I'm already 55 now. So if I do exercise, I will not become 20 years old. If I eat nice food, healthy food, my body will not become 20 years old. 100% will not become older and older, older. But my mind, it can become younger, younger, younger if you train it. This is incredible power, the treasure that each one of us has. It's a matter of whether or not you, first of all, you get information that you have this treasure, number one. Then the next, whether or not you have the information, how to activate this treasure. These are two things that we need to keep in mind. So with this, the point is that this mind, given that this mind is the agent which travels from one life to the other, so how to channelize this mind? So how many of you know that River Ganga travels from Gangotri to Bengal? How many of you know that? Presents. How come that? And if you are kept there in Gangotri without the compass, the ocean compass, if you are given an assignment, you go to Bengal, do you know how to go on your own? Without a map, without Google, GPS? You cannot. But the Ganga knows that. Ganga travels so beautifully to Bengal. Every day it travels. How come it knows how to travel here? Right? You may think that, oh, he's talking about Ganga as a deity, as a baby. No, Ganga is water. Forget about the Ganga if you think that he's talking about religious concepts. No, River Nile. River Nile. I don't think anybody believes that to be big. It starts from somewhere and it ends up somewhere. How does it know that this is the path? How does it know it? Okay, so this is the meaning of channelizing. So that you channelize your mind in such a way that you go to a desired destination. How to do that? Two ways. Two ways. Now, for example, so when I was in Mysore, what is that? The Tipu Sultan's, the Mysore Palace. So then, for the first time, I was in the 20s. And no doubt. For example, in my hostel, when I was in school, it was a very small place. Still, people, any newcomer would get lost. It was a round building. Anybody can get lost, and the person, unless you have a helper, the person cannot get out. Someone will be always inside like this. Mysore Palace is huge. How come all these people? And some people are very smart, but people like me, they're not smart. We can get in, they can easily get lost. I get lost even in a small building, and how come that there's no record, there's no news coming saying that this number of people are lost in the palace. Everybody who entered come out so nicely. How come? So anybody, any idea? How come everybody who entered the palace, they say they successfully come out? Anybody? Signpost? Anybody else? Anybody who get a sign, the architecture for somebody else? You memorize, so you have to keep a book, okay, this is what you memorize.
The urgent.
Okay, as some people say,
the urgent need to go out. The will to go out.
Which means all those people who give the answer, you have not been to Mysore. You have not been there. Okay, anybody who went there to Mysore? Okay, tell me how.
Just followed people.
No, you so look, this is how we did not observe. Forget about observing your mind. You didn't even observe how you get out. You're getting it?
We follow the path, like the trail, the alleys, the corridors.
Of course, the corridors existed in my small place. Even in a small building, the corridors existed.
There's a slide coming from the end that we follow. From the door at the exits, the light that comes.
And do you know
We follow
that,
light.
I don't know, I learned that there is one city. So usually what's the address? Address is for what? For the ease of the people to get to the place, right? And there's a city where the buildings are given the numbers. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, on the basis of which year the building was constructed. If the building is constructed here, which means, say, Hauz Khas. Say, Hauz Khas building came first, yeah? This was room number 1, the house building number 1. Then another building, Dwarka, then 2, then burn 2. So there's no correlation. So postman cannot really get you the post. They will just put you in the box. You have to go there. Claim it. Because they cannot, there's no way by which they can find you. Well, okay, so what happened was that there, I was just wondering, how come that everybody who's getting to the palace successfully gets out? How come? What was, then I noticed that there was, you did not notice that, two of you. There was a road. Road, you have to just follow the road. Follow the road. Right? And somehow the road will take you to the house. So what is the fact that you entered the palace and got out successfully is not because of your success. It's a success of the road. Likewise, Ganga being successfully going to Bengal, it's not because of the greatness of Ganga. It's because of the landscape. Because of landscape. Because of landscape. You getting it? Landscape is designed in such a way that any water, be it Ganga, Satlaj, whatever, Yamuna, whatever, if you put it there, it will flow like this and go to the Bengal. So likewise, channelizing our mind. How our mind should go to a desired destination, to a wholesome birth. So for this, there are two things. One, that they should be like the road, which was somehow like the landscape, which will somehow take you to the desired goal. Number one option. Number two is the main caretaker of Mysore Palace, the main caretaker of the Mysore Palace. He or she doesn't require the rope. Can go on one own. So likewise, there are two. One, to create the environment in such a way that it will make your mind to flow in the desired place. Number two, that train your mind in such a way your mind itself can decide where to go. Two. This is a manner of channelizing your mind to a desired goal. So, two things. Number one is creating the landscape, which will invariably take your mind to the desired goal. Number two, to train your mind be very powerful. And it can choose its own destination. Two things. The first one is that, okay, let's say the desired goal. Okay. How many of you prefer to be in your own house rather than going to this place, that place, this party, that every evening busy, or rather always be in my own, mostly in my own place, then give your own time space. Okay, presents. Very good. Okay. In case, just imagine, which is better? Your house, I don't think it is as big as Delhi. It's small. So which is better? Say your small house where you feel comfortable, or the whole India, whole world, you feel so comfortable, as comfortable as you are at home. Which is better? Second. Okay. Now, whether or not this is possible, say for example, out of these number of people, if you have only one person who you know so well, for example, say the young fella. So from here, he knows me more closely. Otherwise, for him, every one of you It's more like strangers. So imagine that you are the one to whom everybody is stranger. You only know one person so closely, and you feel so comfortable with that person. One option. Number two, that the next class, you see everybody is somebody who feels so close, so loving, caring to you. Which is the truth better for you, first or second? Second one. So the point is that where your mind feels the ease, as the circle of the ease expands, it's very strange. The mind feels blissful, believe it or not. The first time, not the first time. Say one time I landed in Singapore. I literally feel everything's imbued, beautiful moment, just all the cells in my body feel so relaxed, ease, beautiful. It's like a beautiful song happening. It's so beautiful. The emotion becomes so pleasant. I was just like, wow, this is amazing. Later on, I discovered it's not the airport of Singapore that makes me blissful. It's all because of my friends there. I know that these friends, they are so kind. They are so genuine. They want to learn Dharma so genuinely. And they are really waiting. With so much of love, affection. So all these things in your mind, they create this environment, and then just land, touch the Singapore airport. Instantly, I started thinking this. So, if we can create this, where your mind, the whole world as a whole, is extremely beautiful. Can we create this? This next question. Can we create this? Answer is yes. Answer is yes. Say, so finally, it is your own mind. Say, for example, like the sound of a cloud. Sound of a cloud. Say, you may say, this is a problem, that is a problem, very weather is a problem, right? Now Delhi June. Delhi June is a problem, air pollution problem, my family problem, my brother's problem, my sister's problem, my father's problem, my mother's problem, my child's problem, my wife's problem, my husband's problem. Oh, right? And this house problem. If the house is so enclosed, what is there? So suffocating. If the house is so much window, but it's not a house even. House means to keep yourself the privacy, and everybody can see inside, see through. What is there? This is not a house. And basically, it's close. Wow, it's so cool, it's so nice. I feel as though I'm not in Delhi. It's so nice. I can't hear any traffic. It's so beautiful. And it's full of windows. It's so nice. It's a French windows. Wow. I can see the world outside. So beautiful. Right? So it's finally a sound of class. One hand symbolizing external factors. Other sound symbolizing the internal factors. Other hand symbolizing internal factors. And external factors say either the house should have the windows, no windows. There's no third possibility. If you have a window, there's a problem. I need privacy, there's no privacy. If there's no window, there's a problem. It's so suffocating. Right? And if yourself, you say that I'm lonely. If you other people, you say I have no privacy. Right? So this way, external factors, there's always, if your mind is not trained, external factors, the best of the things, there's a problem. So the point is that internal factors, how many such external factors are there? Innumerable external factors. For some religions, very complicated. Right? Every religion, believe it or not, every religion, including Buddhism. Today we have Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism. The Buddha did not say that, okay, my students, you Theravada, you Mahayana. No. Likewise, the Christianity, Jesus Christ came, you Catholic, you're Protestant. He didn't say this. Prophet Muhammad, oh, you Sunni, you Shia. He didn't say this. Hindu, right? Nobody said that you are Shafi'ites, you are Vaishnavites. No. And the Digambar, what is that? Shwetambar, Digambar, oh, you belong to Digambar, you are Shwetambar. Nobody said it. Prophet Muhammad didn't say this. So these things are what is bound to happen. When they happen, we should see how to take these as a beautiful garden. A garden with only one flower is very boring. A garden with multiple flowers is beautiful. So we should not take these as a practice for us to divide. We should see these as a practice for richness of the humanity. So with this, the point is that so finally, once we channelize your mind, that mind, your mind should be a happier mind. You should become a happier person. When the mind is happy, you become a happier person. Whether you believe in separate mind, or separate soul, separate person, Atma, non-Atma, it doesn't matter. But you should be a happy person. And in this life, we see that if your mind is happy, you are a happier person. This is how it works. So with this, how to make this mind happy? And if you build a habit of a happy mind, this mind, where you travel, you are happy. And some people, they think that, oh, the life is so difficult, very complicated daddy, very complicated neighbors, very complicated this, father, mother, children, family, this. I like to go to Himalaya. Himalaya, the same mind will travel. Very complicated mind will travel. You see, everything is complicated. It's actually your mind is complicated. This complicated mind will travel, right? Again, you will say Himalaya, there's no the Starbucks thing. You say this. You might not see this in Himalaya. So the point is that this mind has to be channelized. So how? That one, this true nature of the mind, let this true nature of the mind manifest. What's the true nature of the mind? True nature of the mind is like the pure gold. Pure gold, where all the dirt they are removed, and the very pure gold manifests, it glows. When that happens, wherever this gold travels, there's a glow there. You don't create them, you don't expect the glow from outside. You create the gold everywhere you travel. This is where you channelize in the best way. Where you travel, there is a flavor wholesomeness wherever you travel. You spread the wholesomeness. Wherever you are, there's wholesomeness around you. Wherever there's pure gold, there's a glow there. So it is like the whole world becomes your family. It's so beautiful, and you can create it. The next is, yes, we must finally look for that. We have to look for that. How to unravel this true nature of my mind. Finally, this is what we have to do for this. If you don't do this, somehow, say the metal dirt, they are the internal factors. And internal factors, whenever it meets with external factors, no doubt the miseries erupt. You're constantly having miseries. Your mind is so unhappy. Where you are is unwholesome state, unwholesome birth. So with this mind, just see how to get to the internal factors. And a question some of you might ask, what are those internal factors? How to get into these internal factors? These are two questions. Then the next part is that, okay, if I can manifest this mind, the true nature of my mind, right? Otherwise, we are tainted, we are agitated. Sometimes when you good food, you like to eat more. So when the food is not good, you become so grumpy, right? And the weather becomes hot, and then you say it's all the temperatures from temperature in Delhi from say 10 increase to 16 to 20, 22 is very pleasant temperature, and you're already in problem. Oh, now the heat is shooting up, it reach 46. So before the 46 reaches, you already do 46. Your mind is already tortured. Why do they enjoy 22 degrees centigrade in Delhi? Instead of enjoying, you say, oh, now he's soon you'll be able to 46. Let me come 46, but please enjoy now. We don't enjoy this. And then the 46, and then it dips down, 46, then to 45, 40, 39. Again, you start what? Then steady with the cold in winter. So the point is that this is somehow we have to fix a mind. If this is what happens, then your mind, you're able to say to get rid of all the mental dirt, and the truth is your mind becomes manifest. No external factors can affect you. It's like a dream. How many of you just raise hands, those of you, the dream affected you terribly with so much of fear at least once in your lifetime? Raise hands. Okay, tell me, why you are affected, so badly affected by the dream? It was just a dream. Why affected? Anyone? Raise hands. Why affected? Because we thought it was real. Which means that as long as you believe the dream is real, you are affected by the dream. You cannot have the freedom. When will you have the ultimate freedom from this dream? You wake up. You wake up. If you wake up to see the reality, you will not be affected by any external factors. That is the time you get total freedom from the contents of the dream. This is so precious. Number one. Number two, in case if I don't reach to that level of the advancement in my practice, what should I be doing? Then the water does not have the capacity to know where to go. But don't worry, create a landscape nicely. So landscape will take your mind to a desired goal. What is that? So this I like to share you in the form of this one great teacher, Venerable Benjamin Sanchigin. Venerable Benjamin Sanchigin, and he taught in his Guru Puja there that in case if I fail to unravel this hidden treasure within me, then may I be blessed that I still get to the desired goal of the favorable birth through the 5 powers. Okay, so the 5 powers, as he indicated, the first one is the power of the favorable seeds, S-E-E-D, seeds, favorable seeds. Favorable seeds meaning that virtuous seeds in this life, at least don't create problems on others. In this life, if you cannot really make others happy, at least don't create problems on others. So meanwhile, if you can make others happy, first be yourself happy, make others happy. And the best of which is the practice of the unconditional love of bodhicitta and the wisdom to see the reality as it is. These 2 things, the practice of unconditional love of bodhicitta and the wisdom to see the reality as illusion to this good. And alongside all other practices, anything, say, telling truth to somebody and not deceiving others, being kind in any form. So this is number 1. Then number 2, the power of the intention. The power of the intention. Intention meaning that, say, that my mind, always set your mind in such a way that, okay, the next life, somehow my mind must be directed towards a favorable place, favorable environment where I meet with these teachings on compassion, teachings on the wisdom. So this is how you set your intention, that I'd be projected, that my mind at time of death, my mind be projected in a place of a very favorable environment for the practice of the compassion, universal compassion, and the practice of the wisdom to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. This is number 2. Number 3, the seed of what is known as seed of repulsion, meaning that and the regret over having done the negativities. The regret of having done the negativities. So this must be very intense. The more intense you have this, it creates a very fertile mind for you to go into the virtues. Then the next one is the power of familiarity, the power of familiarization, which means that, okay, since that in this life, okay, how do you convince in your own life that, okay, let's say we have here Mangala who is 19 years old, and Nivita, how old are you?
24.
16?
24.
24. And if should there be anybody, somebody who's younger than like 19, at least you have, okay, here, how old are you? Oh, Sanjay-san. Yeah, okay. I met you when you were, before you were born. Or when you were very young, very little. Oh, okay, so good. The point is that just tell me, in your life, say those who are the very young in the teenage, and the elders, like my age, you have your experience. Tell me, when are you happier? When you're angry or when you are compassionate? When you become compassionate, when you start to feel the pains of others, when you empathize with somebody else, the feeling of joy is so beautiful. This is our experience. And when you're in confusion or when you know something, when are you happier? When you know something, right? Okay, some people, what it is that, okay, it is not to undermine the people who are not fond of mathematics. The moment they see the mathematics, right through. You getting it? They are to sit for the net exam, for the PhD net exam. They cannot skip that. They have to do it. But the moment they see that, they're fed up. They just flip through the 2 pages. Okay, I give up this number of marks. Okay. So whereas if it so happens that somebody who's so compassionately, they'll help you and says, never mind, don't worry. Okay, you can do it. Are you sure? Yes. And then suddenly you come to know how it works. There's so much of euphoric experience. Wow. Sense of accomplishment. So, look, confusion versus the knowledge. With knowledge, there's joy. Compassion versus anger. With compassion, this is joy. This is our experience. From this experience, say, even if somebody says that somebody in the facade of a guru, in the facade of a prophet, in the facade of Buddha, whatever, comes and says that, okay, so you engage in giving others, you engage in harming others, you'll be happy. You will say that, like my age, that's so dubious, I'm very sorry. From my experience, I know that being kind, I'm more happy. Being harmful to others, there's so much fear within me. I'm very unhappy. This is my own, I don't need a problem. I don't need a Buddha or whatever. I don't need anybody. That I know. So with this, we see that all the great teachers, Jesus Christ, Mother Teresa, the Buddha, there's one teacher, Hindu teacher, whose Mahayana I read. No. There's another teacher who was involved in giving land to the people. Vinoba Bhave. Very inspiring. Very inspiring. Real saint. Okay, so with this, the point is that from experience, we see that what I'm seeking is what I get from being kind to these teachers. What I want to get away from, anxiety, anguish, fear, and so forth, these all come from harming others. That's for sure. So what should we be doing? If I want to be, say, good in music, is there anybody who is really into music? Okay, here, good. Okay, so the music, say, if you really want to be good in music, what should I be doing? I like to ask, okay, here.
You have to practice a lot, and you have to really have a lot of love for the music.
Love for the music, and yes, I felt love for music. I told all these things that I do get the I need to take care of my laundry. I need to go to the market. I need to do this. I took time for this.
So like I play the guitar, like you just be playing and your fingers are hurting, but it's giving you so much joy.
No. I don't understand it. What I'm saying is that I love music. I want to become a Mozart, second Mozart, but I don't have time. Right? I have to go to watch movies. Then I have to go to talk to people. I have to go to the garden. What do you say?
You have to find more joy in music than the movies.
No, I do have so much joy. I want to become Mozart. I don't want to become Shah Rukh Khan. I want to become Mozart. But I don't have time, right? I have to go food, and I have to rest in the afternoon. Evening, in the night I have to sleep. In the morning I take, like 1 hour for my breakfast. So what should I do? What should I be doing? Immersing. Yes, I want to immerse, but I don't have time. Huh? What do you mean by prioritize? Huh? Which means that what I'm saying is that for me, okay, I want to spend time on food. If this is who you are, you say that you want to become second Mozart, it's a lie. It's not true. You have no passion in music, right? You have greater passion in food than in music, right? So the point is that there must be a passion there. There must be a passion there. Likewise, and this passion comes because of the joy. The joy. Now the point is that, say, we talk about, say, the happiness coming from compassion, not from anger. Happiness coming from wisdom, not from confusion. So what should we be doing is that we have to create a mind in such a way that we have to habituate in this. Habituate in this. For the music, we have to practice every now and then, spend hours and hours and hours and hours on this. So likewise, we have to practice this, familiarize the power of familiarization in compassion-related practices and wisdom-related practice. So these two. And finally is that, for example, say Dorji, you are graduating. Okay, all of us, you're graduating from the high school. Now the school will not give you any more in the school. You're graduating. So in case, if you don't have any mentor, such as your parents, and then if there's very compassionate teacher, finally who sense that you don't have a mentor, and what will the teacher do? What will the teacher tell you? Teacher tell you, what do you want to become? What are you going to do after class 12? You getting it? Then you say that, sir, ma'am, I like to become a physicist. Oh, in this case, you have to apply for the physics departments in various universities. These are the colleges here, right? So in a way, you express your aspiration. So that aspiration, finally, so that teacher helps you to drive into the physics departments, not in the biology department, not in the music department, because your aspirations towards the physics. So this aspiration, again, plays a very important role. So that is known as the power of aspirational prayers. Aspiration prayers. Okay, so these 5 powers, the power of the virtuous seeds, the power of the intention, and the power of the regret, the power of the familiarization, and the power of the aspirational prayers. So these 5, if you make sure that these 5 happen in your life, you are creating a very beautiful landscape where the water of your own mind is automatically driven to a favorable rebirth, wholesome rebirth. So whereas if you don't do these things, these 5, then no matter what we do, that we're not sure what are next. For example, some boys and girls in the class 12 means you have to sit for here in India, you have to sit for the board exam, and then you have to decide for your the college, where you want to join, what you want to do. You have to decide. And still they say in the month of October, you're almost sitting for the board exam, and then which college you want to go, what subject you want to take, I'm not sure. If you don't have the aspiration, if this is a case, don't expect that you end up in a good college. With most of good colleges, they expect you to apply way ahead of time, which means that your aspiration must be there. In many good colleges and universities, they expect you to write essays to see to the quality of your knowledge and skills in language. Okay, so these are the things to be done. And then meanwhile, as I said earlier, the point is that to channelize the mind, say, what 2 things to be done? Emphasize, familiarize, and practice compassion, and familiarize and practice of the wisdom. These 2 things. And for the practice of the compassion, right, it's not that you have to become a Buddhist. Just whatever religion that you're following, follow it nicely, make sure that everybody's happy. The first thing is, don't think of making the world happy, make sure that your mother is happy. Don't shout at the mother, right? And the mother says, after your Tushita teaching here, you go back, and then, hey, my daughter, my son, you do, have a cup of tea, right? If this is what you do, finish, right? So forget about my religion, that religion, so forth. You even don't know you even don't know the religion of taking care of your mom, right? So there, from here, your mom tells you, okay, my daughter, my son, what do you like to have? A cup of tea or juice? Mom, please sit, right? So what do you like to have? A cup of tea or what? Mom will be so surprised, amazing, wow. Just overnight, right? One day to Tushita, and transformation, wow. What happened? What did you do, Tushita? What did you do? When is Tushita? Can I come? This is how you should be a role model. You should make others just spread the pleasant feeling, the joy in your mother. And automatically it happens, spreads. And believe it or not, if you're able to make your mother happy, believe it or not, if you're able to make your mother happy, there's going to be glow in the mother's face. And mother will be so happy when she goes out. Then that the mother will anticipate your coming home, right? She likes you to come home. The moment you enter into the home, again, what my son may tell me, what my daughter may tell me, she's suffocated, right? Mom, instantly she's like a very alert animal. Now, say, Mom, yes. She should be so happy that she feels happy that you're calling her. That is so important. If that happens, believe it or not, your friends, your mother's friends, they visit your place, they can see that your place is actually just full of vibrancy there. There's a joy here. This is the magic of your good heart. Don't expect external magic. Simply because the house is beautifully decorated doesn't mean that the house is beautiful. House can be very cold if you're cold at heart. It may have everything diamond, but the moment someone enters, these diamonds are like stones. Useless, very cold stones. This is what you can do. And then learn. The next part is the wisdom. The wisdom. Encourage yourself reading good material to trigger your wisdom, to trigger your knowledge. This is so important. For example, believe it or not, if you read the books of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, beyond religion, at ethics for the new millennium. No doubt, you share these concepts with any of your friends, you will see that these are the gems coming from you. Where you learn this from, you'll be fascinated. They are likewise good books. Read good books to intelligence. And Shokan, starting from showing to your dad, to your husband, to your children. If this is what we do, you are channelizing your mind. It will work. Wholesome. Stop here. And if you questions about this,
and I also just paying homage to Kundari is that very happy person. So we remember.
Sure. Let's pray. Let's pray for all these. So towards the end, towards the virtues, for all these benefactors, for the kind benefactors, because of the kindness of hope, be able to come together, reap the benefit, the benefit of Karma, Tushita, and so forth. Let's then twist and do to that. Okay, no questions? One or two questions if you have.
Thank you very much for this. I want you to understand that as one of the central themes is practical equanimity. How do we practice equanimity? Like my happiness and everybody else's happiness is equal, and I should not think that my happiness is more important than someone else's happiness. But how do I practice it in the practical world so that I am not like if something is not happening going to my, and of course everybody's trying to advance their happiness. Why? As you said, don't get angry, don't get frustrated. In the real world, like if I'm working or if I'm going on the road and someone hits my car or something that, and these things happen every single day. How do I ensure that I'm not getting angry or losing because of something like that? Is it possible to?
Okay, this is a very serious question. Very serious question, and this is what everybody encounters. And thank you. This question is very serious. Thank you. Okay, the first thing is that whether or not this is possible, that we practice equanimity and eventually embrace your love and affection towards all the beings unconditionally. So 2 steps there. The first one, the equanimity. Before the first step is that the reality that we are confronted with. The reality is that, okay, I go to Tushita and he said that we should be compassionate with everybody. But in my real life, look, somebody cuts me when I'm in the traffic and people take advantage of me. So these are realities I should do with. Okay, so know the reality. Don't show blind eye to the reality. But the reality is, you know it so well, be smart, right? So when people tell me that, for example, say that, oh, all the Tibetan people, Tibetan staff, they're so good. Everybody is so good. And some people, they go to say that the whole world is so good. Only you are, it is your mistake. Whole world is beautiful. I said, don't say this. Don't say this. You have to know the reality. In the world, for example, in Delhi or in big cities, whether you're a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. Don't go out in the late night. Don't say the world is beautiful, right? And His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he puts it so beautifully, that if the mad dog comes, don't say compassion, run away. You should be very realistic. We should be very, very realistic. We have to know the reality, be very objective to know the reality. Once you know the reality, then you act not in an ordinary way. What is in an ordinary way? Ordinary way means knowing the reality, you become cold person. This is the reality, don't trust anybody, right? And say you have to act smart. This is the ordinary person's behavior. Now, the evolved person's behavior is that you know the reality, that the world is imperfect, and see if you can change the world, be it 1%, 5%, 10%. So how? The first, know the reality and keep in mind that you are a process. You are a process. Process meaning you are in the stages of change. So change can be changed from good to bad, bad to good to good, bad to bad. Because it's a process, knowing that it's a process, okay, so there's a possibility for me to change from bad to good to better, better to best. So this possibility, because this is a process, there's a possibility for me to bring about transformation. So in this way, the point is that if you say that if the other person takes advantage of you, know the situation well, and then never from your side, what should you be doing? Is don't say, okay, you're a wonderful person. No, the person is not wonderful, right? Then the person, you will think that you're stupid, right? Then the person takes more advantage of you. Instead, if the person takes advantage of you, know so well, what does ordinary person do? What does the person do? That person will instantly trigger anger. Don't give into anger. Whether you give into anger or not, that is in your hand. And this anger gives you a full strength. And this anger will make you shout at the other person. This anger, and perhaps this anger will also give you strength to punch the other person. And the person may die. And you end up behind the jail. And then just with the fight over, say, 1,000 rupees, you end up behind jail. And behind jail, you cannot work. And you lose lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of rupees, which otherwise you earn every year. You lose all these things. This is the stupidity of the anger. In other words, don't give into anger. This is so precious, and not necessarily so the other person will be happy. No, first be yourself happy. Remove the anger, as I asked earlier. Anger versus compassion. When you're happier, we said with compassion, happier. So no anger. Without anger, still you can stop the other person from doing nasty things to you. You can stop that. So without anger, your sanity is there. With anger, you lose the sanity. When you lose the sanity, what you do can be crazy. You can end up in regret. So this happens in the family also. Unnecessary family fights. These all happen with anger and regret.
Cynicism, like once someone cheats, then you become cynical. Exactly. Again, it will happen. And
exactly.
Looking at in a negative sense.
Exactly. So there, the first thing is never give into anger, number one. And then if the other person, if the other person takes advantage of you, how to stop that? So usually I suggest two things. One is keep distance from the person. Why the person is taking advantage of you is for two reasons. One, the person thinks that you are stupid. Number two, the person thinks that you are weak. A person takes your compassion as weakness, not as strength. For these two reasons, the person will take advantage of you. So what you should do, you should send a message to the person that I'm not stupid, that I'm not weak. How do you say that I'm not stupid? Is that you keep a distance. The person knows that, okay, he knows that what I'm doing. Which means he's smart. Then the number two, that they say that when you meet a person, don't give in to anger. Anger is some weakness. It's not some strength. When you see the person, just, hello, hi, again. Only the strong people can retain this calmness, composure. The weak people will instantly give into anger. Strong person can face the person, the enemy, without anger, very strongly. And be very normal. It's very difficult to meet with your enemy where you maintain your composure. This is very difficult. Only the strong people can do it. So the person will feel that you are very strong. You are not a weak person. And his early action of being kind is not the gesture of his weakness, it's the gesture of his strength, compassion. The moment you pass these two messages directly or indirectly, then believe it or not, 99% of this, this taking advantage of you would stop. 99% would stop. Okay. In fact, what happened was that there are many anecdotes. So, in one Tibetan monastery, there's one young monk. He was very rebellious. This is his time. He's rebellious against the authority. And many of us might be, right? And the abbot, the vice abbot, he was managing the discipline of the monks. And this young monk, he was always rebellious against this vice abbot. One day, the vice abbot was hospitalized. And he needed blood donation. And the disciplinarian made an announcement to the monks, saying that anybody who likes to donate blood to the vice abbot, please give your names. And this mischievous monk, he gave his name first. And the vice abbot, he recovered. Then when he recovered, he asked the disciplinarian who donated to give him the list of the monks who gave him blood. And in the list, the first name was the mischievous, the naughty, the rebellious monk. And this vice abbot started to shed tears. Deep inside, this monk is very kind. It's just his habit to be rebellious against authority. But as a person, it's very kind. So there are times where you can express your strength, and the other person will discover that. Once you discover that, your relationship is going to be very healthy. Okay, this is a very serious question. Thank you. Then the next step is there are two methods to then extend. Now that you're able to shield yourself with the armor, where you're not going to be affected by the other person, because you know how to distance yourself from the other person. Once you're able to shield yourself, that you're not affected, then the next is to feel the joy, whether you meet with your mother, whether you meet with the enemies, to feel the joy under every situation. So that requires another set of special practices. One is known as the practice of the sevenfold cause-effect method. And second one is known as the method of equalizing and exchanging survivors. With these two methods, you practice it, believe it or not, you will see that, for example, say when you think of your mom, there's joy there, but this joy will not give you goosebumps. Whereas when you start to feel the joy to see your enemies, different people, you will have goosebumps on your body. It's so beautiful. This is amazingly beautiful practice to the extent that you see the world as your home. This is the tip. This is the tip which allows you to see the whole world as your home. It's beautiful. Okay, any more questions? No?
How does the familiarization with the time process actually help us to experience this clear mindedness?
Okay, so basically, this question Professor Rinpoche is asking, this is something more advanced in ways that first you have to identify this mind. As I said earlier, it is like, say, not only channelizing not only creating a conducive the landscape for your mind to flow, but actually preparing your mind to independently move wherever it wants, be it up, down, wherever it can move independently. So for that matter, you have to first identify this mind, which is very different. Experientially, you should identify this mind through the techniques of observing mind. Once you have this, then you have to practice on a daily basis. There are some sort of techniques there to make this mind manifests from, say, the very gross to the subtler, to the subtler, to the subtlest, known as the clear-light mind. And then once you experience that, then try to retain that experience, sustain it, and then on that basis, use this mind to see the dreamlike nature of the phenomenon. Then this mind becomes extremely powerful. Then this is the ultimate factor, ultimate remedy to remove ultimately duh. Then the mind feels 100% at home wherever you are. So this is the best way by which to channel the mind to prepare for your wholesome rebirth. Yeah. So that requires, number one, it requires your training to observe the mind, for which we need a really experienced teacher to help us. And if you do it on our own, it can be like, say, the medicines to be kept out of reach of children. You're getting it? So there, without the guidance of the expert, if you tackle these things, it may be more harmful than help. Did you do it? Okay, I'll stop here. Yeah. And then we will do the quick and division prayer. Yeah. Okay. So what we do is that since we don't have a common prayer book, first let me share with you say the dedication, and then all of us will try to flow our mind in a contemplation, the way I guide, and then followed by me. And this is the one killer to first reciting some verses in Tibetan, and then here also we have some friends here recite these verses in Tibetan. And okay, is anybody who has the blaze of non-verbal bodhicittras? This is one. Okay, so then I will recite the verses in Tibetan, and yeah, okay. So the virtues, the merits that we accumulated, there is delicate merits that are scattered, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness of the third, that it is long, and that its wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And there is also delicate merits that are scattered, that all the great teachers in the great learning centers of Sakya, Kakyu, Nyingma, Gelug tradition, and also from the Theravada tradition, Chinese Mahayana tradition. And in short, wherever there's a learning center where the teaching on universal compassion and universal wisdom, wherever these teachings happening, may the centers thrive in the activity of study, reflection, meditation. That as millions and billions can benefit from these centers. And let us also pray that all the benefactors of the Dhamma centers, such as Tushita Centre, and our earlier extremely important and good friend, Mr. Mathurji, the Naresh Mathurji, and all our good friends, well-wishers, those who are deceased. Let us pray that they take a favorable birth, and that they continue to inspire, support the Dhamma and sentient beings to take the base from the state of misery to the ultimate happiness, from the state of darkness, ignorance, to the state of the wisdom of the Buddhahood. And may all the people like the Professor Renuji, who are the sole person behind these centers, where as many people benefit from these centers. Now, all these other people, the volunteers, they have good health. They are able to support the centers for the well-being of the Dharma and the sentient beings. And that we personally delegate merits are scattered, that each one of you, through a concerted effort in identifying what the true nature of your mind, what it is, and through making this mind very conducive to the universal love of compassion, bodhicitta, and the universal wisdom of interdependence and emptiness. May each one of you become such a reliable guide to lead all the German essential beings to the ultimate happiness. May the teaching of bodhicitta and the teaching wisdom and emptiness triumph in the minds of all German essential beings today and in the future. So with this mind, we will recite some of the verses independently, and it just let us flow in this the goodness of the virtues of compassion and wisdom. Hare Rave Gorve Jengam Der Tando Dewa Malu Chungene Jere Siwa Tenze Gyazoye Shabe Side Padu Tenyu Je Jambe Bawe Chida Kemada Kundu Sambe Tean Deshendo Dada Gwenge Jazo Nalom Dewa Deda Tamje Rabdo Mo Tuzum Jebe Gyawa Tamje Ke Moa Kala Chodo Ngabate Age Gebe Sawa Tibu Yon Sambe Chuche Rabdo Mobai Chanjo Senjo Rimbo Che Mange Banam Kejo Je Kewa Nyamba Mebai One Gondo Peba Sho Tonye Tawa Rimbo Che Mange Banam Kejo Je Kewa Nyamba Mebai One Gondo Peba Sho Kewa Gondo Yanda Lama Don Teme Chuge Bela Longju Shin Sada Lamge Yunde Rabzone Doje Change Boba Nyodo Sho. Let's recite the House of the Mantra 3 times, which most of you know how to recite it, and others who don't know, just listen to us and join us. Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasamgate Bodhiswaha Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasamgate Bodhiswaha Om Gate Gate Aragate Arasamgate Bodhiswaha. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all for coming today, this evening. And Geshe, it was really wonderful listening to you. I hope we can do a bit of practice on a daily basis. And I would like to thank the staff of Rebirth House and Tushita for making this happen today. We are really grateful for it. Rebirth House specialist, Manish, and Yeshala's gang. Thank you. We hope to have another teaching soon. Yeah, there is some free and free.
Stop the recording.